Welcome back to the lab, folks. So what we have here for you today is a little upgrade and a few updates. We're back to our little tester here, our little T7 tester, and what I want to do is I want to do an additional upgrade to it. Now, since I put the bigger battery into it, and I'll link that video up there if you haven't seen it, since I put the bigger battery into it, I've only had to charge it twice, and that was about a year ago. So I had the initial charge after putting the battery in, and then had to charge it one more time. But I can foresee times where it'll be quite a while before I can get back to it. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to add in a little switch here to just disconnect the battery from it, because it always does draw just a tiny little bit of current. And yeah, it'd be a good idea to have that little switch in there to be able to switch it off. Now this involves mechanical surgery, of which I've been known to be very bad at. So let me get this here, zoom out a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Let me take it apart and see what the options are for putting a switch in, see where we can put it. So I use this screwdriver here as one of the updates. I've been using this a lot. This is a great little screwdriver, and I've been using it quite a bit. So I'm very, very happy with it so far. But I've got a little upgrade for it too, and I'll leave a link to anything that I review here down below, so in case you're interested. But this has just been fantastic, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and I can't fault it. So I guess this thing apart, it makes all this screw removal a whole lot less tedious. Okay, so here we have our little device here. Let's get that top cover off. And the switch is going to go into the bottom cover, I believe, would be the best place for it. So I think over on this side is fairly free of encumbrances. So I've just got to put it in. Now one of the things is, how do I attach it on? So let me show you a couple of my options here. So I've got these tiny little screws here that I could try, but I don't know if the heads, yeah, the heads are bigger than the holes. I want to put the switch on the inside though. So the problem then becomes, if I screw it in from the back like this, I will have these screws will stick out the front. My option there would be to file it down. Another option would be to use the slightly longer screws. I have a couple of those as well. And what I can do is screw it in from this way, and then that will protrude through here a little bit, and then I just put a little bit of hot glue onto the end of the screw there, and that might hold it in. And the third option is to just mount it down in here so the post is behind it, and then just bolster it up with hot glue. I'm not the most mechanical guy in the world, so actually I just had a change of heart. There's plenty of room for me to mount this down in here like this so that the switch is at the back. So that is what I'm going to do, and it also allows me to properly mark the holes for the screws and such like that, because it's going to be difficult to mark them in that way even once I get the slot done down there. So yeah, so I'm going to choose that spot there. It's as good as any, and I'm going to mark the positions of the switch with this and move the switch back over. Okay, now it's time to go and drill some holes and get filing. We've got the hole cut in there, and see the switch come through. Switch just comes through perfectly enough to operate it. So that's good. And then it doesn't protrude down below the feet, so that's perfect. That's going to work. All right, let me get it mounted in there, see how that works out. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put the screws through from the back, and I will cut them off and grind them down, and that should suit me. Alrighty, I've got the switch all mounted up and screwed into place. I'm just wondering if you can see that, hopefully. And we do have those little bits of the screws hanging out the end here, but the switch runs nicely in there, goes its full length of its travel. And it's just what we want. Now I'm just going to try and get rid of these. So I'm probably going to use a little Dremel grinder to grind those down, and hopefully I won't scuff up the back too much. But we'll get them down to a manageable state so they don't stick me, in the finger. All right, be right back. Okay, that worked out quite well. This one here is almost perfect. I can't feel it very much. It's just slightly proud of the surface. And this one here is about the same, but I got a tiny little scuff mark here. Just in case you're wondering what grinding bit I use, it's that one there, a common one. And now all I have to do is wire it up. Okay, so we got it more or less back together here, and I've got the switch in. So now the switch is off, and you can see that it won't activate. Turn the switch on, and it activates. So that's pretty good. Now, it does sit around for a couple of minutes in this mode before it switches off normally. So this way you can turn it off quicker. That should extend battery life a little bit. But there we go. So let's get it all back together here. Now, when I put screws back in, I like to turn the torque down, especially in plastic like this, little screws like this. So I don't need it on full torque. So I'm going to put it on 3. That should be sufficient to put everything in. And as usual, you want to back it up until you feel the click before you drive it in. All right, so that's the modifications all finished. Perfect. All right, folks, we'll put this away. Now let me give you a couple of updates on things. First of all, this, I mean, I think this is working out great for me. I use it all the time. I'm surprised at how much I use it. I use it for almost everything except for the first time putting in self-tapping screws. But other than that, taking them out and reseating them and stuff like that, I use this. Now, one of the things I found in using it was that while it has an enormous number of bits available for it, on the Phillips side, I've had need for both bigger and smaller Phillips bits than they have here. So the biggest they have is this one here, which is a Phillips 1, but quite often I need a Phillips 2. So what I did is I went on to my favorite shopping place, AliExpress, and picked up some more bits. So let me get this opened up here. So I got this set of 5 bits here, and that's going to, I hope that's going to improve things. So is there one missing there? No, that's 5. So it comes with a Phillips 2, and it comes with a Phillips 000. I think this one only goes down to Phillips. No, this goes down to 000. Okay, I was hoping to get a 0000. But that's all right. Maybe the profile of the tip is a little bit different. It does look different. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this one definitely looks like it comes to more of a point. So it should be able to work with smaller screws. And what I'm going to do with these ones is there's plenty of magnetism in here in the back. So I'm just going to plop them down here like this, in between these ones here, and they should be sitting there ready for me for when I need them. Plenty of magnetic strength there to hold them in as well. So that's it. That's my upgrade to the little kit here. And I'm going to continue to look around for a Phillips 0000, and I'll add that into the mix as well. So, but yeah, this has been fantastic. I mean, I've been using this probably for I don't know. It's hard to put a time on it. But I've taken apart and put back together again about 5 different items over the last couple of days. And it was at 100% charge, and it's still at 100% charge, if you see that when I turned it on there. So the battery in it lasts a good long time. It's not something you're going to have to charge up between every use, that's for sure. Now, one more thing that I have to update you on is this thing here. This is the cheap little heated solder sucker that I got. I forgot what it was, $7 or $8 or something like that. Again, I'll leave a link to it down there. Now, I know it leaves a lot to be desired in certain ways. First of all, if it's on for a long time, it heats up quite a bit. You can't hold it here. You have to hold it back here. But by the same token, you're not holding it there anywhere. You're holding it up here. So that doesn't bother me. But one thing that does bother me is it continues to smell a little bit. But I haven't seen anything burning on it yet, but it's just got just a little acrid smell to it. It seems to be getting less and less and less. But this thing works better than that big Yahoo-Ha thing I have over there with the big vacuum pump and the trigger handle on it and everything. This thing's way better. Now that's the other one is great for things like ICs and stuff like that with small leads and big holes that can suck the solder out. But the way I found this was I have a GPS-DO, and it has one of these big CAN oscillators in it, this OCXO oscillator in it, and it went dead. So I had to try and remove it. Now these have got very, very thick leads on them, and they put them into here. So like here's a smaller one in a piece of PCB, and the legs almost entirely fill the holes. So I had got a bunch like this before, and I tried to take a few of them apart for projects, but it was just a pain using that other solder sucker. And you solder wick and what have you to get the solder out of these holes. I mean, like, these are so tight that it fits in, like it won't fall out. Like those pins are actually touching those sides pretty hard. And it's very, very difficult then to suck that solder out. But you know what? This does it. One go. You put it down over there, go poof, and the solder comes out. It comes out so well that just with a little bit of persuading, and maybe one or two, I think I may have had to heat one or two of them, but once it got moving, these came out so easily. So I went and finished them all off. So I got another 3 of these around for my use. And sometimes they're in rather big boards. Like these boards are massively thick too. Like they've got 6 layers or something like that in them, and they have voltage and ground planes in them, so they tend to suck the heat away like crazy. They're just a real bugger to get your oscillators out of. But this cheap soldering sucker is doing the job. And for anything like this, I'm going to keep this around. I'm going to use it. I have been using it, and yeah, it's been phenomenal. All right, folks, I think that's all I have for you today. And again, let me apologize for being away for so long. I just had some life priorities that needed to be dealt with, and I think they're dealt with now. Although this winter, oh my God. See you in the next video, folks. Thanks for coming out. Bye-bye.